What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what? Today, I just felt like making a Jimmy Page video. And I was like, this video is gonna get slammed for copyright, but I don't think doing a Jimmy Page video would be right without just a plethora of Zeppelin riffs. So we're just gonna suck it up, probably not make anything off this video, and we're gonna rock out, because that's what it's really about. So, what happened was, I was playing guitar the other day, and I was playing some Zeppelin stuff on the Gold Top, and I was like, wow, you know, it has that Page sound, you know? Maybe turn that down a little bit. And then I realized, I was like, you know what's funny? I don't remember Page ever even playing a, you know, let alone a Gold Top, but anything with P90s. And I just kind of started thinking, I was like, well, it's kind of odd, because he started on his, I think it was called a Futurama. It was a very Strat-ish kind of guitar. And then he did have his 60s Les Paul, and he had his Telecaster, and then of course his number 1, his 59, his number 2, another 59, and his Dan Electros. And I'm like, he's had all these guitars with all these other pickups, but he didn't have a Les Paul with P90s. And I was like, I wonder why he didn't have one. So while I was in there thinking about all these, you know, the universe and all this kind of stuff, Jimmy Page, P90s, you know how it all ties together. But I was just kind of like, you know, in my mind, I never thought of it, but I was like, it makes perfect sense. Like, you think that would have been Jimmy Page's thing, because obviously a lot of his stuff was recorded with a Telecaster. He obviously loved the sound of single coil pickups and all that stuff. And even when he had his Les Pauls, it always seemed like he was trying to get him to sound like that in-between position, trying to get it to sound like a Tele almost, you know? Just like a thicker Tele. So I wonder why P90s never entered the equation. And I guess the biggest thing I think that probably happened is maybe Page did try one, would probably be noise. You know, I think that's why he switched to using Les Pauls for live purposes anyways, was because they were so much quieter than his Telecasters. You know, the single coils back then, super noisy with the lights and the electricity and all that stuff. So I would say that that's probably why he didn't use it live, but I just, you know, you just never see him with a P90 guitar. So I'm curious if anyone else has more information on this. I was kind of thinking, I was like, you know, by the time Jimmy, I know he had a hard time finding a Les Paul. His 1960s custom, I believe it was 1960, got stolen basically while he was on tour, I think here in the US. And I know he was looking for another Les Paul and having a hard time, or at least finding ones that he didn't like. You know, he of course eventually got the one from Joe Walsh, his 59. And, you know, I was kind of thinking, I was like, well, maybe back then, obviously around 57, I believe, is whenever Gibson switched over to using humbuckers on their guitars. And maybe over in the UK and stuff like that, they just weren't that common. It's possible that Page just really didn't come across one of these until much later in his career. Or, I mean, maybe they're too quacky. You know, the P90s do have like this quack tune, which I, really associate with Page. That middle position sound is so Pagey on a gold top. I mean, not a gold top, but a P90 Les Paul. You can do just the bridge, middle position, which to me, when I hear that middle position, I'm like, oh, that's the Page sound, you know? Dig it. Like it has that sound. So I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys to figure out. What do you think? Why did Page not play a P90 Les Paul? Like I said, live I can see for the noise, or if he did, I haven't really heard much about him using one in the studios. You know, it was Telecasters and stuff like that. So maybe someone has more information, but it just kind of sparked my interest, and I was like, I don't know why he didn't play, a P90 loaded Les Paul. I saw if you've seen, I've watched it a million times. It Might Get Loud. He's playing like a hollow body guitar that has P90s in it, but I think that's the only time I've ever seen him with one. I'm trying to think. Yeah, and I just can't. I can't picture him. I always picture him humbuckers, or like I said, under the telly. So I'd be curious if someone has more information about it, about why he didn't. Maybe he said in some lost interview. I couldn't find anything, but even in the studio, you think that. I would have thought that P90s would have maybe been his go-to over single coil like Telecasters, but you never know. I mean, he got that telly from Jeff Beck. There's all kinds of stuff. So I'm just curious to see what you guys think. So leave your comments down below. Why do you think Page really is not associated with a P90 loaded Les Paul? Maybe you know information and you're holding out on us. Yo, bro, come on now. No, I'm just genuinely curious as a huge Jimmy Page fan. So other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I just thought it'd be a fun one to make. And, let's bounce on out of here. Bye, guys. Whoop!